Family, on a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever on a day. And on a welcome to the program Inside Salon today, na the Then and Now Media Empire, where they broadcast live on Facebook. Today, na Saturday, the 22nd of August, 2020. Me, now na host and presenter, Mohamed Kamara, commonly known as Supermed. Today, inside the program Inside Salon today, we can look at the land grabbing issue and the corruption, yuki business, where they around them. Now, serious issue where they affect most of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So this platform, like can tell no more, now an objective platform where they look out for all Sierra Leoneans. But ladies and gentlemen, family more than the chat room, please share so that plenty of we brothers and sisters them will get the opportunity for watch this interview live. It's very important because today we get a very prominent Sierra Leonean by the name of Dr. Alito Freeman. We can talk to we and explain to we thorough one about this land grabbing issue in a salon. So please share so that plenty people can learn from this remarkable gentleman. So do you are the original you continue for share. Like what no more, we get a prominent Sierra Leonean today where they can talk about this land grabbing issue. And this man, now one of the co-founders of the civil society movement in a salon and also the Salon Defense Unit, where he don't serve as national coordinator for the organization here. And their organization have been really critical organizations in doing where Salon began that civil war, that 10-year civil war. They play a very critical role. But nowadays, this man also an interest and motivation now for fight this land grabbing issue, for make sure say people are not suffer from like how they suffer so. So this platform here, very happy for get this man so. Like all a very prominent Sierra Leonean. Mr. Alito Freeman, welcome. I mean Dr. Alito Freeman, sorry. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mohamed, Supermed, and say thanks for get me at this platform here.
Okay, then thank you very much and welcome. And we're very much happy for getting at this platform. Like how we say no more on a very important issue. Family, I don't allow delay any longer because we only get an hour. I want to go directly, not begin this talk here because this talk, like we are saying, most of our brothers them and sisters them in the diaspora don't get affected. And when they see we can't get issues them. Even people they build aside where they're not supposed to build. Plenty problem in there around the land issue. People them where their ancestors them forefathers them, we don't left get in land there so. We're not waiting to happen with the Lord. I make us say we'll get somebody today, we can explain to we all length here so. So still at the employer for share the program so that plenty of we Sierra Leoneans them will get the opportunity for can listen from this remarkable gentleman. When Dr. Alito Freeman. Dr. Alito Freeman, first of all, I want to ask you, say, why make you interest and motivation move to this land grabbing issue in a salon? What are the circumstances? What drive you? What are the motivation? What drive you for let you focus by this issue?
Yeah, presenter, thank you so much. A very important question because when you get involved in issues in a country, especially campaign, people have to understand your motivation because if you don't understand your motivation, some man go and think say, well, what is the motive here? So I think say it's very good for me we talk about the motivation and when to inspire. Talking about land, presenter, land issue or land rights and human rights. In the very first instance, I think say if I get to that point, let people know say a link land rights and human rights. Because when you take somebody in dignity from them, you take somebody in land from them, you don't take in dignity, you don't take in respect. But I want to talk about the motivation. Most of the time, we as modest people, we not want for say lots. Shakespeare remind we say the world now is stage, and everybody gets in own parts for play. So we recognize and respect the one the way they play their own parts today, be it in governance or be it in every institution. But let themselves know say that stage where they occupy today. Now other people then work very hard in the past for let them lay the platform, for let them get the stage where they work on so today. So we all not stakeholders. UNICEF, where they do so, we all not stakeholders them. Opinion leaders them, we all not stakeholders. Because when anything happen in our country, now we all get what bear the brunt of it. So this take me back to the days of the war, just in the introduction. We, NAMI, coordinator of both organizations, the civil society movement, we bring together many organizations, including the Teachers Union, the Labor Congress, and all of that. Then me also, NAMI, the national coordinator of the Civil Defense Unit. The Civil Defense Unit, we've been there now, the Western area and the urban type, when women get gone. But now women, they deploy the youth, so women get passion for defend the country. Along the line with ECOMOG, we decide to do that because we feel to say people are not going to left for kind of help in our country. Then we self within the country, no help for complement the effort. So when they go around, they will get we youth them, credit to them, enough respect to them. When they day side by side with ECOMOG and at the checkpoint, will not be the sleep. Even we rebel Kana, the country, we not be the sleep within a corner, within a treat. And we all know make we sacrifice. Like for we for take that role this so I left me your work. I don't want to say this a bit because people can ask you say what you don't do for your country. I left me your work even when I ask for let them give me study leave without pay. My employers them a little bit G3 because they think say the advocacy role they play will make it very important. I decide say okay if you're not give me leave without pay, I resign. I resigned from your work from 1997. Go into a platform as just an activist and a volunteer into Sideway in an unpaid job. So that was 5 years. 5 years in the history. Some of we make them sacrifice and they because we want to let we all contribute. And when we come to the civil society movement, unfortunately, the organization don't disappear. People have all know say it was a phenomenon in Salone. We contribute so much to the peace process. Of course, now we made a help step for prop the democratic government. Even when we go to Lome Accord, we get role for play there. When we get the whether the Lome is peace is dead or alive, now we all play role. Then send over they meet with the rebels when they are Krohil. Then they come. And one important thing we me do during that period all day through we own organization, there was no military. Everybody remember that. When they mean disband, of course, the military. No military, no military. When I meet with the late man Kobe, now me own organization, we provide 3,500, the first set of soldiers for the country after we don't disband the army. Now we recruit them through we community structure. So this reason we could say this and for let people know say, oh, who side people in the come out. So this explain my motivation. I don't get land in Salone, I don't get property. So in order me to say I come into this because I'm saying, oh, they don't quiz me on side. So when we all look who's how we don't come out in the country, the 11 years war, a well-documented now the TRC reports, things that will lead to the war. We deny people them of humanity, their humanity. We take people their dignity away from them. So all man may just the wait. When the war come, everybody just join in one way or the other. So if we don't go through that kind of history in our country, now history will not forget. Now history will for guide we in everything we do. So when we come to this present day situation, at tonight it don't start from don't care years, but people and believe say this not the time where it don't really take a different dimension. We look at what's they go on over this land. And the kind way people in the go and the particular group, everybody they suffer for land. People in we get land as Salone now. They suffer one way or the other. But it can also appear as if you get a particular group where they don't get the heat past other group, where I not go shy for Siam, when are the crews them, in as much as you get so many people there, and you get people there where they get it thinking now, so say Creole man not forget land again na Western area. Then you look at what we get for coming to back, the discriminatory law set within the country. We since 1927, we get a land law. Since that period, that they would use still now. We say, wait make we get that division, you will come out na Freetown, or you in a Freetown, then call you stranger. You the non-native man, now will get land. So many reasons in there, but one of the most important thing we really prick me and say, oh, no. You, an activist should always be an activist. We know they can't sit down, few people and feel to say they want to take the country. So let we all can contribute positively, we do and constructively. Let we learn the voice. Because sometimes the way people and they do things we're not right. If people then talk and start for talk, it will remind them. So we look at waiting to go on in terms of the land activity, so many stories in there, and targeting a particular set of group of people them and make them begin to say the Creoles them, this is not about tribe. The Creoles are already in a minority. And then if you go begin, because I mean anybody with this free tongue now, they tell you say, then are the people them, especially then with people then they don't transfer land to them, they don't get the land donkey years on their property. But most importantly, something they go on as salon now, we warrant the urgent attention of everybody.
Okay.
Everybody listener, everybody they feel the pinch of it. We see we come into that one in a very
okay, Dr. Alito, please, I want to hold on this small because before you go any further, I want to continue for tell people and then continue for share this video also because this topic is very, very interesting. You find plenty Sierra Leone and witness and you read this topic also live one. And before you go any further, I want to say yes, we're very, very much happy and glad the role where people like Kuna play during that civil war now in country because without people like Kuna, the country will find them very, very difficult for able to recover back. So they tell now, thank you for the organization and we come together, we play key role for make we able get peace now in country. So we're glad the plenty one. But the way you don't begin hit the talk so I want to ask you, why would they get so much problem per land business na Sierra Leone, mainly in Freetown? Why this they happen? Because many people them go there in doubt because they expect say, way I go buy land, I go na registry, I for able get thorough documents, we go clarify the document where I get, but that does not guarantee what's in the cause that, what's the main problem, the trust of the problem, we'll get so much land issue problem in that country, mainly in Freetown.
Well, as I say, the land issue in Salone is a complex issue. And I think say sometimes we want left a less complex, deliberately less complex, so that within that complexity, the people then will thrive. You get names them. Well, this is a cartel. There's a cartel going on now we country. You get names them of people and when are pastors them, names of people and way from donkey years on the tell in our country. You want go Godrich, you want go Lumley, you ask say you want forget land. And then people then at their name, and then go always they come up. But the issue where you talk about what to make this problem, the process we not try for let we really make a lay it become accountable in itself. Will make them let it become a bit complicated. For example, the expert then will tell you say, when then they register land, instead of then get within and called deeds registration, but as against within the title registration. So people are now the type for Tox SFC, and we'll come back to the national land policy. We for do away with this deeds registration because the deed registration not they give detail, not just exactly no more the agreement between you, we buy the land and the buyer and the seller. That no more, in the between you and him. Whereas now, if you go on to the title registration, and not just to show that, it give a whole lot of details, a whole lot of details go in, including whether you get right for sell the land or not. So one of the fundamental problems we will get now in country, now the manner at which we register with land, it make room for people them for make sure say they capitalize on the system. Two main institutions that are responsible for with land administration. You get the lands, which are the Ministry of Lands, and under the Ministry of Lands, you get different departments them. But the main department under the Ministry of Lands now the survey, the survey department. And the survey department, you get the director of lands and surveying and the administrative head from one government to another. So we'll therefore come back again into the nature of the grabbing. So when you want to land, in the first instance, you therefore go now the registry. Something done fundamentally wrong. We not modernize with system than it when I know cause a problem. For example, as we talk so today so now, the registry not become computerized it. You still they deal with physical copies of booklet. If you want to go look for your instruments, because when you want to buy land, the law said the first thing you for do, your lawyer when I get for prepare your conveyance, and you get the responsibility for go search for the title of your land, now the registry. Come on now. How you able to go search documents them where you get so many books them? Some of the books themselves, if you look at the condition themselves on the shelf, they already don't begin fall apart into pieces them. Now that way they will keep records them. I think say the question is, why do we not want to modernize? Well, and so because it is suits we for let we able to take advantage from people them. So here is it now. You want to forget your land. The first thing you need for do through your lawyer, you for go to the lands registry, you go search the register for know if other somebody may don't get them or not. So you will find out saying that the people in the registry, then don't become culpable. But sometimes they go say, they will get excused because we get volumes and volumes of book. So I will go know, say, this land here may don't there or not. But excuse not they, because when you don't forget your land, you don't get agreement between you and the buyer and the seller. The expert that they tell you say, you go now, you get your surveyor, the government self get the surveyor, your surveyor, they go prepare a survey of the land. You don't get a survey of the land, you can't go to the lands registry. Now, through the process, then get the own licensed surveyor the way they work under the government, and then get for make sure say they examine your survey in line with the coordinates, and you get the master plan of that particular area. Then they study them, look at everything. Then they give you the LS number, which is a very unique number. Now you want going to get that LS number there. So if you don't get that LS number there, if I make a simple step for the registry, so there is no way where people ever begin duplicates. But then you find out, say, in all of this, because I say the system not modernized, you see, say, by the time when the person don't go to the registry, and when you don't go to the registry, you don't get your conveyance and all of that documents them, the registrar don't sign up. It give you the seal. When you don't give you the seal, it don't become a legal document. But you survey where you get. Apart from your own surveyor where they sign up, the director of lands, because we're not talking about squatters there, we talk about then they go around, they give people and bad names, say most of the land they win and they take now people they will not get papers in for the land. No, that's a wrong impression. People then go through the due process. You get so many case studies them. People then go through this process for get their land, for acquire their land. We just as I explained, so they don't go to the ministry, they don't get a survey. The director don't sign them. They don't give you a unique LS number. You don't come out there, you go to your lawyer prepare your conveyance. When you don't get your conveyance now, you go to the registry, your registry self, look at them, in line for say yes, everything correct. The registrar sign them, then give you seal. Bam, you don't get your land. Now, with the say in this present dispensation, government they talk say anybody who gets land where na the surveyor be na the director may deal with them up to 2018. Avoid.
Wow.
Wait a minute. So waiting will they say here, we'll get for company and they back again. If you say somebody you don't go through the right process, you don't get now right process because you know go wait you know as right process, now for go to the ministry. Wait you know as right process, now for submit in survey, let the surveyor, the director of lands sign them. The director of lands now in the administrative head, you know, to the minister, the minister they play supervisory role, or you get the permanent secretary. But in terms of the survey department, in terms of the land surveyor, he is the head. If a land director of land don't sign a survey, that means to say now authentic something. If they don't go do them in a yuki way or not, you don't go through your process. So if a government come in the future, we want to take land now somebody in. You not get that right, they will get for talk about that. So you can't take somebody in land, but you don't go through the same process. In some countries, you get for talk about the compensation. But let's talk about what's the gone between the registry and the ministry. As I say, the registry are just paper documents someone then they deal with. We then don't stock in volumes and volumes of books. What don't make it difficult. They now get a computerized system. As a matter of fact, now we begin to talk about an interface. We forget the system where a highly computerized system where we create situation for the registry, they interface with the lands. So that whatever are the situation, it's just easy for put your LS number, you pick them up. So you know what make say this is a mistake you make. So one of the reasons we to make, apart from the illicit activities and the cartel, one of the reasons we to make the whole land business not become complicated now because we still they use outdated system them now the institutions them. Credit to the lands ministry. They don't make attempts now for get a digital system where then they forget for talk about them. We don't begin prone to corruption. Then get a digital system. You and me don't buy your land. We tell people they now say if you don't get your land, try enter under the digital system. Because even the one they within at the digital system, will not know if Yuki go play. But the Ministry of Lands, these are efforts to donor organizations there. We understand, saying, World Bank and the FAO, then we don't help the Ministry of Lands or get a digital system. When you don't get to land, then they put another digital system there in line with the master plan and the coordinates. We get the understanding saying that thing we nobody know for able for override. So that's it for effort. Let we get some accountability in the system. But then again, the connection between, so this become complicated. But again, if
Dr. Before you go any further,
yeah,
you mentioned something this not say possible by land by 2018, and not valid if you get something. I don't know if you go to clarify small, but
well, there is a document so me get what I don't see. Wait till it is say if you get a survey, let's say you don't buy your land, you did the process of preparing your survey, and that survey being signed by the previous director in the previous government by 2018. We understand, say, then say, in null and void, you for start the process back.
Wow.
In starting that process back again, you don't put into corruption because we understand so many things there. But we did do some thorough investigation. I mean, we're not just to come out with just fly, we're not fly accusations. We did do thorough investigations because one for ask, what is the essence of telling somebody, say, you survey don't get in null and void because now the previous director been signed up. So for start somewhere again. Not to that person they get fault, because the question we will ask about that thing they, in terms of the inconsistency, if say me don't get me survey documents when the previous director, what I need for doing now for that, go ahead and get me land, get me conveyance, go registry and get me land. But if now this will they talk, that means to say if this government now in your life self come to an end in will they say 2023, if this government self in your life come to an end, new director come, will the directors will come up at a point. Not to the people and for suffer we don't buy the land through legitimate means in quote, because if you don't go through the right process, now illegitimate means. So that the ministry and all the other people involved in that process then are for sort and step out. But I think the situation where they go in our country, then they always make sure say you the person way now you don't go do your genuine transaction. Now you be at the brunt of it all. Nobody they come so you rescue. They not care about the paid way you feel. Nobody they talk about compensation. So these are some of the things I'm talking about. Waiting make it become complicated. So the one way they all help for play advocacy role. I think it don't reach them now for let we talk about, let we advocate for, let we get a modernized system in our country. Modernized in the sense that everything for be computerized. We can't stay, they go on with an archaic system, they keep just booklet. Where if Bog don't eat all the books and stuff, because we not even get a very good culture self of record skipping. So that just give you a picture of what's in the gun in terms of what it creates room. So for example, now you go don't get a piece of land. Let me say something, I get a land where I may not get, let's say 1980, or I don't get on 2000. I still not build it, but I do other activities in it. I don't get all things. Somebody they go no more now, they go prepare a conveyance. He come now, he said I me get the land. Then you know, don't get within the lawyer and say competing interest. Because competing interest, although the law say clearly, say me not to legal somebody, so I know they go into that. But the law make them very clear, say, in terms of that kind of situation, you the person way now, the first person way ever don't get a land and when don't get a conveyance for them, now you're not the legal owner. But even so, we see so many competing interests and kitty kata and this land business, way very, very, very explosive.
Dr. Alito, for the interest of people, and many in the diaspora, where most of them they watch this program, and I know say most of them get land in a Salonde, this idea that because of by 2018, the former director of lands we don't sign the documents them, now you know valid again for do. I believe say many people in the dark part this wire. I don't think say plenty people even know about that. So what's not the thrust of the argument of the current administration for say that particular document is invalid? Where like when you say no more, where me go, I don't go do my own paperwork. Not to be on. What's not the thrust of the arguments of this current administration for say so?
Well, I don't know what's not the thrust of the arguments. I get copies of the letters and perhaps while we tell they're going to the interview, if I get time for digging to them, they're ready, I can just look. But I don't know what's not the thrust of the argument. So perhaps part of this campaign will be for law get some from the horse's mouth. waiting at the thrust of the argument. Because I not think say now, I don't speculate. Because these people in the few cases that we'll get, for example, lots of people away don't go buy land na protected areas, where you could say this is a government's place where they don't protect, or state land, or people that we don't go to forest reserve. So waiting there at stake here, I don't know. It go finally the authorities, but as I talk authoritatively. This is not a fly news. I get documents, I get letters in my hand of people and we don't do start the survey. We already don't sign by the previous director, and they say now for let you finalizing land documents now. Then say no, wait a minute. Some people are even accused say it's another way now for corruption. They ask people and for let them pay certain amount of money all over again, and again some other accusations, and they say then they use this situation back for blackmail people. If you don't get your piece of land, but as I say this now accusations them. By the end of the day, we go for present thorough reports of all the findings. If you don't get your land, then they go tell you say, well, if you get so much acres of land, then blackmail you say, well, we will give you this percentage. We say we'll take this percentage. But as I say, I don't know waiting at the motivation. We go get for find out, and we'll get for come back now this program and reveal all of them things, because we get for land for make sure say we say the truth in everything we do. This is what we get for doing enough way. But this just tell you about some of the things that were there. So if you get your land at the, whether you're in the diaspora or not, try for check if you don't finalize your process. And one of the things we will advise people let me get back, go all out to make you get your documents at the digital system. Let it enter and do for you. You got to go all out. And they say even when you enter and safe, some controversies and there around them, some of the investigations where they go, but at least that will put you in a very good position.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alito, because this now a very interesting clarification you don't give me so. And fellow Sierra Leoneans, I mean, people who are in the chat room, I want to thank you once more again. Please now continue to share this program, because we get some vital information and we get for be beneficial to most of the diaspora. I believe that most of them don't get land same. Some people never do the survey. Some people never build even without doing the survey yet. So many things that they go on. And when they see this land business, they set people in back. Now, Salone, the serious one. But again, when you begin the talk just now, you talk about a set of a minority group when they create them, we don't seem for suffer a lot by the landlord in a saloon, where most of the land them, we don't again complaining they talk say people don't take the land or government don't take the land, or plenty you business don't take place there. So what's in this landlord will make them people that are the creoles, particularly the suffer by land business now frito?
Well, we all know say, and as much as people want to dismiss the creoles and now they not say creole, they're not a tribe, but down the back, we all will come back for talk. What is a tribe? Waiting, we know you can define tribe in any set of way, as long as a group of people and we share the same culture, whether not through a language or what or not, that don't make them a tribe. So we know say the Creole people take them from the colonial time. Now then I mean all the people that we don't do in the western area. So from then period and they most of them, then grandpa, me don't get land, don't give them land, then get the land them. So if you think about, I'm not thinking that statistics go right now, but the few Creoles that way they then get the genuine land and then get the genuine property, we then get. So when this kind frenzy don't take place, it don't become very obvious. Say, now the Creoles, some of them not old self, some people and don't become feeble. Even the church themselves, they get people that will get schools and get church there. There is a kind of frenzy, something they gone. This building culture, which is good. Now science says yes, the country they develop. But we see one kind of speed at which people then they go on now for go build. And when people then they go for build now, which is good, because of that and that desperation they want for build, some want for bulldoze people that way, and no one knows whether you land where you get, how you get them or not. So now they will see say we get the kind of whether the connivance or within the gone between all of the institutions there. Go take people and land. For example, we'll get some case studies and how they deal with now. Within some of the practice where they go on now, you find out, say, when some of the government officials, then a demand there, and they will get for talk about again. Then a demand in a western area. You get a demand in not get land, also a demand in the poor land. But how the politicians themselves, they end up for corrupt the whole thing and for create instability in the communities there. If they get a current demand right now, we not agree cooperate with them. And the Yuki business, waiting and they do, then they go meet the former Edman women day. And I want to know whether that former Edman they self name APC or SLPP or whose party women day. And then former Edman and they themselves they eager for work with the government them. Now then Edman and then they use as a channel for IBN. So that when things then we get for revealing and they when things then come out, you say, well, a land where I buy through the Edman. So they create them and not say themselves get so many things in our way with the area of class action, with the hope say self, then they will become something serious from them. But that clearly show you say the create them they feel the pinch seriously because if group of people are not begin to talk about class action, they show you say now then they bear the brunt of it all. As I talk, so I understand say some Creole people and they come together and they want for submit some class action against which they go so because now then they suffer most. But I don't think say this is just about the Creole. Most people the way we don't get the land in one way or the other, you get this kind of thing they go around them.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alito, because this land issue na Salone, a big issue this way. Plenty people like we talk no more, not only the Creoles them, other set of people themselves, plenty people, and really sometimes there is no winner. Because you see people them for one grain land, more than 4 or 5 people they perfect, then a court it take years and years and years. Waiting the authorities or waiting organization like we go able do or ordinary Sierra Leoneans them the diaspora go able do for make sure say this land issue business they able fix some people able get justice, people able acquire land genuinely, transparently way no. Bogi no go in the arts and no go in the diaspora. The bogi say, oh, I don't get me land. Somebody will go grab them and we will end up in a court for years and years. Me no in a salon, all these sort of things. Waiting at the remedy to all them problems, sir. Which how for solve them?
Well, I think say in generally, let's talk about a democratic environment. If a democracy get for survive in any environment, if you get for thrive, the role of the civil society and the fourth estate, we call the press. I read one somebody in comments now about civil society, where it saddened me because we know how we invest into civil society, say civil society no more like what it used to be. But if any democracy get for thrive and get for survive, the civil society, the fourth estates, the non-state actors, who call the non-state actors, they all put together, then get very critical role for play. And when we fail for play this role, we now then are the conscience of the society. People then they refer to them as the voice of the society, the voice of the voiceless, the conscience. When things they go wrong, now then for able for come out, you they partner with government. When we they will not say you're not supposed to say we say civil society not just for oppose. You're going to partnership with government. You do things that are very constructive. And when government know they do things right again, you're for able for bring them kinds in and they back again round. So just 2 months ago when man say let man start all over again, this advocacy role, I begin get into the landscape again. I don't know what's going to happen to culture in our country. Everybody seems to be muzzled, whether or not they muzzle themselves or whether or not the powers that be muzzle them. But something not right. The civil society them, they no one for talk again. How them for talk, they no one for advocate again, how for advocate. Few people are not at the press now that then get at least the courage for make sure say them present. And one of the things on the fourth estate self, way a little bit disappointing. We're not see that they carry out even investigative journalism. They go through the experience in parts of the world. Because if we get the press, also they engage in investigative journalism. I think generally, I don't know if now the lack of resources, that they always just want to make people then bring the story come to them, instead of them go find the story. Here in this part of the world, we get in the media, people in the specialize. Like we got now on environment. You get journalists that we specialize on environment. When the issues they are, they can, because if we get them kind of role they are, let's say, for example, the press, then say they go there, investigate, then go into the community for all the Allah they are where they take place in the country. Ask how many press we don't go on the site there. How many press we don't go for go do fact finding. Try to get paper from the people there. Then you can't present her. But interestingly, we get a big task because when we come up with an rule ourselves again, say, let we revive again. You see the frustration. Some man no one give you access for make you talk safe. They say, hey, but what they talk so now? Waiting down we don't talk way. Now dangerous talk who they talk. Anybody where you know seizing somebody financing there, where they talk to the media, you get for know which you they talk. You know, there's a good talk senselessly. But even where you ready for do things immaturely, so some of the press them or the avenues them for that, be it radio or what, then they hesitate for give you access. Say, come on, let's start for talk, because one of the good things is for correcting things in the country. Now, advocacy, people learn for talk. You do it in so many ways. You do go first, you do it in a very quiet way, interact, do fact finding, meet with the people that were involved. Then you raise awareness. But if the institutions that are and no one for allow people and say for let people and talk again, then waiting now we don't consider that is as if we all don't become accomplices one way or the other. Because one, no one talk, two, even block people and we're ready for let we talk. So in terms of the role of the civil society, we get a very sacred role for play. We say we be very active. We for make sure say now we represent the people of interest. Now we forbid the middleman. And when civil society play that middleman role, the government they take things serious because they're afraid. Or then go hesitate because government no want to let them embarrass them. There's to go number you talk. You go negotiate. Organizations and the way they do well, credit, because these few moments I don't know about organization and we then call it, for example, the Sierra Leone Land Alliance. Then they work together with human rights, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Defenders Network. I think they don't realize, just as I talk, issues of land and human rights issues, so they not get for left and behind. But the bottom line in this is that the civil society is then get for help. Now then get for make sure say then create the check and balance, and then get for keep the government on in toes, and then get for speak and say truth to power and not for hesitate. Then get for embark upon the investigations them and make sure say when they don't do the investigation and not for hesitate for present independent and objective report. But come on now, waiting on going our country. Where are the civil society? Look, somebody they talk. Who side the civil society? Who side the civil society then? Who side the
thank you very much, Dr. Alito. Like when they ask that key questions, because like what you say, it look like say plenty people they might be muzzled or they fear for talk or we don't really understand what they go on. Now you don't left to we ordinary Sierra Leoneans and follow take up the man's guy so for make sure say we continue for advocate for the voiceless and people the way they suffered they like say because this issue you don't suffer so many people. What about with parliamentarians? Do you feel say with parliamentarians they get any role for play by this, maybe for simplify the laws them or for somehow modify the laws them so that people go understand this land issue better and in a simple format where at least they will get some proper guidance when we go and come on the diaspora, many people in diaspora, but even people in Sierra Leone as well, where their ancestors them, then great Ghanaian and left Ghanaian land, then go to make sure say those lands are secured. If they want to say and go to say, then get a proper channel with a simplified way where then go to sell land or where somebody go to buy land. So you feel say with parliamentarians say get a role for this?
Well, of course, we know say parliament and then they make the laws. We'll can talk about with separation of powers and then they make the laws. Then get without any doubt, we know say then get very serious responsibility. If anything go wrong, then self the share part of this, a major part of it. Now, first and foremost, we roll up for parliamentarians them and for make sure they create the right laws them and enact them. Because if we get the right laws them, we get the modern laws them, things them go there in place. For example, now it's laziness that we don't catch you as a country. We take today, we get what we call a 1927, a protectorate land, which they call. Where they create that discrimination. But let's go to the 1991 Constitution and the role of the parliamentarians there. Inside the parliament, they get oversight. Bodies and committees that they play oversight role. For example, now, a very clear in the 1991 Constitution in terms of your land and how, if you don't get your land, how that land they can take under your hand. If government gets right in the first instance for take land from people there, let me say if now for public interest, underline public interest. So if now for public interest, say something they want build school, they want build clinic, and waiting, government gets right. But then let's go to the role of the parliament. Parliament, parliamentarians and they not enact the law. See say it lay clearly within the procedures them with the other arm of government for follow if they want to take land and people hand. First and foremost, now even the parliament get for come up with laws themselves where they go enact or empower. So if you not see say as parliamentarian, the executive arm, for example, not to follow within the constitution say, then you not sit down, not they call the executive arm to task. So one of the biggest problem now in terms of within the God, I know we hesitate for say with parliamentarians or the parliament don't fail in certain aspects, especially in this area, for make sure say they hold the executive arm to task because then get the powers, then get the over. For example, which area they talk, which we can bring this come up now. We all know say that Sierra Leone a democratic state. And in the democracy, everybody know within the separation of powers. You get the judiciary, you get the executive, and you get the legislature. The parliament, of course, and then they make the law. Then we get the judiciary, where that law then get for interpret and a court where you go and wait and call. The executive, then they for make sure say then carry their own activities as the executive arm of government. Now, if parliament sit down, because this is the parliament, you see the constitution states and very clear say, one, if government want for reclaim land from anybody, whether government they get rights, there is a due process. If that executive not to follow the due process, then parliament not ask question. What is going on here? What's in the go on now where we don't get this kind of ineffectiveness now at the different sectors there? Because the constitution now, in terms of that, we talk about the process. When government want for or reclaim land from somebody, in the first instance, you don't get your genuine land. Even if you're not squatter, we don't do that in parts of the world. If you're not squatter, they want for kick you out of waiting and call. Then get for good through court. But forget about squatters. Then they not be talk say, hey, the land the way people then get people way don't go build a state land. That argument self no they in place. Because even if na state land self the person you don't buy, the person don't go through the right process. So you see governments, when government want for reclaim land, the executive or the Ministry of Lands, one, you get for notify the people and first you get for give notice to the people. When you don't give notice, you get for consultation get for take place. That consultation get for take place. Then in the final aspect, the courts now get for decide. Or the parliament self can come up with a law where they go enact. But here is the situation. And I think that this will all long fail with country. When they see the executive arm through the Ministry of Lands, they go, they take people and land from them. Then we get for talk about the aspects again. They use the security apparatus them in a wrong way, take people and land from them. They deploy security people there. Nobody they ask question. The parliament will get for ask, where the oversight committee? What's in the role of the oversight committee? Why will they allow one hand?
Dr. Alito, just hold that side quickly, because when they talk about the securities them, because we don't see recent cases them, where they see the security forces them, then they go now and they sell land there for go evict people them and basically terrorize people them. Now certain lands them. We see another incident recently where I think that the Minister of the Environment and the Land Minister, they say, when the government, when they're responsible for the Freetown municipality, they argue, but land business who side and say the land ministry don't allow people, they don't go build aside where they be beyond the green belt or within the green belt where they're not supposed to build, where they endanger people in life. I mean, that is just another episode of how this land business will become toxic in our country. You get anything for report for that topic, please?
When I see that video, they say, well, come on, what's going on here as a country? And then this just expose some of the story we they get for say, oh, the land the way people then get, the land they win are protected areas, that make we seize them from them. That video they make gun circulation, it's an embarrassment to the government because you get two different ministries. One they call for waiting for be the right thing. And the irony and the funny thing, the very Ministry of Lands, we suppose for this, they say the same thing with waiting the deputy minister, we understand, for water resource. They're not before they end out here that they conflict themselves. Because within the deputy minister for water resource, where they say, now the correct thing that you get protected areas. So we need for ask we say, this same ministry where they go around and grab land from people and we know to protected areas, then they. Now this same minister, they stand out there, they defend, what make them give land to people in the green belt. Salon people are not asked say what is the interest. What's in the interest? I don't know if you understand what they say. Because
Absolutely.
if they want for sanitize, people let me just say pass number and bill. So you don't reach them for make we bring sanity into our people and they get land. We're not for argue about that. Nobody not supposed to go bill us na protected area, na green belt, na forest reserve. It is wrong. And if that may not happen, na situation will then get for correct. But look at that story, how funny that story was. You get the Minister of Land, they defend. And up to now, we not get the reason said. What's it make it they defend? We need for knows why it they defend, say, then people and they don't go build on the inside and they something they underneath. But then again, it's telling you that again about the selective justice. The same ministry where they say they want for creates, they want for sanitize the land, and then they go for defend certain group of people there where we need for find out who that group of people in there. Now party supporters them or now money they don't give, but me no say some interest go on there, wait to make them they defend the people there. Trust me, if now other sets of people let me don't go bill on the inside of this, so when they not get right for bill. When non-government official not been get interest, you go really say they don't go take bulldozer for go bulldozer. So we want to know what's in the interest. But by and large, it was embarrassment. The people that will defend say people then get right, non-damage will take place. I don't know what's in the government, so the government for don't call them two ministries and they at least into order, or especially the president, and say no. This is an embarrassment to we. But waiting that bring, it undercuts the story where they get around for say, oh, the people in land they would take from them, now people that would don't go grab state land, or people that would don't go build. So if that story was correct, why do we have the minister out there defending people that we don't go build now protected area? So this they tell you say the land that they claim say for seize. One, now then they take advantage from people there. People that sometimes don't get the land in strategic areas and we don't mill it. They don't mill it, say, oh, this man has something in land where he gets a dinner an area where sometimes will get advantage for tourism, the grand number 2 area. So you want to go kapu the person in land. But now you they promote again these people and for go destroy we own landscape in our country. You see? So that make me come back again to within and we're not very happy about. USA would reach as a country where would they allow abuse of power. USA would reach as a country where would they allow one segment of we governance, they act unilaterally, just to take action by itself. And people they all seem, we all don't sit down inside like a mumu. Nobody know they talk. Nobody know say the minister not get rights for they can't talk about the use, the wrong use of security. The minister not get that rights they legally for go around and take and seize land from people without go to court. Nobody know say the minister not get rights without not get a parliament where go enact say yes, such land in such area we they reclaim them. Nobody. Why we don't come out where they allow one person they go around and they take advantage by people and so. I think this is an indictment of we all, an indictment on the whole nation. We still don't allow people and they do things, and at then kind here we they allow people and they take advantage from people with the abuse with office. Now all of them think they are 9 will lead to grievance. So on this issue, me want to talk about due process. If person don't get in land through legal means, you want to take that person in land, you go through the due process of it. And again, look at the way they corrupt the security institutions. We only hope, say, we security institutions go learn and lesson well. I they follow events on this McKinney issue we are not talk about now. I don't begin see where they don't begin shift the blame them to the police them. So we only hope, say, we heads off with institutions them for not for allow let them politicize the institutions them. Unfortunately, the president we forget a situation where heads of institutions and for take stand say I don't mind if you sack me, but if you don't give me this responsibility, I know they can't allow level politicize this institution where you don't give me. For example, land where they take from people they had. Then they go take police or military, then go deploy the people, them the police and they for normally scared people them away from the land. One of the things we don't happen, one of the findings we don't get. Then they use this emergency laws now, this state of emergency. For some case they will get now, some case studies are number 2. Then they use this state of emergency and this curfew. Now there's some of the ministers that we don't go hide people in land. They don't try for make sure say they move with speed. Where they show you the corruption, go deploy state security there. For example, we get a case study now where now under this curfew, they don't go take people there, then 40 feet container. Don't go pull and come out and go. You get about 2 or 3 containers there. Now net, if what you they do, you the minister with the bill and person in land, you sabi you said, if what you they do, now correcting, you they go take people in container and net you they go take them and credit to the chief of defense staff. Adopt me at to them. When they carry them containers and they go, because we understand say they carry them containers and they go na cock relay outside them, then send the container and go back. Say no, we'll not allow this. Then go back again and go take, but we'll not go into the specific case because we get beaucoup case studies that we'll get for looking to for expose with government people and anybody that will depend this UK. But one come back to the due process. Some people are not for allow they take advantage by we not for allow that we don't suffer so many advantage during country term and during war. We for able for stand up with the human rights organizations then. In some countries and back again, you get the lawyers them, human rights lawyers them. When they do the work there, then come, they say that they do their work there on behalf of the people and they represent the vulnerable people there. And we don't know no more than because the country is stronger. When we human rights lawyers, we something can come together and say, let we defend with people there. But all man just, you don't know more, one green minister, land ministry, take soldier man, take police, they go to people their land, take you, we not to that the law say. You know they go take land upon the hand. Everybody far aware of that. When you don't get your land, then they can't seize your land without one. Then for the go to courts now get for determine, or na parliaments don't come up with law. And besides, as I say, governments get right for take land when they go through the due process. By the end of the day, they want for take your land so you don't go get land aside with a strategic place for national development. When they don't consult you and everything, then get for compensate you adequately. Then they compensate people in land when they take. When we don't get the land, they compensate you adequately.
I think say you don't trust some other key point salient answers them where they go benefit lots of viewers them today now this particular interview. So will they tell you thank you for that plenty because this is an issue as we always talk now very disheartening issue now thing where it don't more plenty people they don't suffer a lot because nowadays for let people raise money buy land very expensive now begin building then suddenly security forces and government security forces and damage the place pull it get no recourse. Like when you emphasize no more the institutions them will not get independent institutions when they will snap one even the judiciary where for above for make sure say this dispute and then go solve them amicably. I mean we get cases then they now courts were there for years. Why is that? Why land issue one get issue where 2 or 3 people are fed for one green land it they take over 5 to 10 years. Then they will get to any resolution at the court because okay, no, we're getting popular saying we say justice delay is justice denied. Why is that happening? Is it that the law is so complex, the judges them or the magistrate then go and find so baffling for judge, it will take them years, even decades for judging case in it?
Well, you don't hit it at the head. Justice delay is justice denied. And now one of the feelings that of the judiciary, I don't know if they want to say that capacity they not get, but everybody knows say that don't lend itself to corruption, the delay in justice. Now that make even some people and they afraid self now. You carry your case go court. We know Boku's story now, whether the connivance, this whole thing of land, when we don't do now, we get for expose every sectors we involved. The state officials them, the role of some of them UK lawyers them, where they work in line with they go on at the courts for make you go serve then take you what they call. What you say so now. When people do not get confidence in the judiciary because your case go to courts now, then go take and certain 5 years before then the judge. By the time when they take 5 years, the person will get what they call it don't bill. Sometimes not even judge yourself. So if we see us for offer solution, the question will say so now. I understand, say, we for empower we institutions them. First and foremost, the judiciary. In order to reach himself, we get a specialized court. We don't know, we all still don't know. We're not the talk. The civil societies are not the talk. They especially me they call now organizations like the interreligious bodies and now they're not the talk. People are want wait something we could scarce they now. Now they want for come up we say, okay, let we begin to talk about reconciliation. Let we begin to talk about peace. Let we begin to talk about conflict prevention. We don't prevent conflicts now. Come back to the judiciary. Land don't become like today we will talk about blood diamond. When we talk about just mining. Today, land now don't become the new mining. People in they enter upon land as if they're mining in mine land. If you don't see something like that, don't become so sensitive. We for put things in place for me to prevent them not lead to something. For example, in the judiciary, we know we still get a specialized courts so that we'll begin speed up people in case. This is not the thing about having some dynamic people where they lead institutions then. The Attorney General, which they call, we don't say land don't become a burning issue. I will say, okay, we create a specialized court now for let we deal with that. Or even the registry, the registry can get in your tribunal. The registry get that kind of authority. They can say, okay, because if case themselves they delay, let's set up a tribunal now so that we will set things and look at, because it's easy for let you know when somebody say he gets competing interest. The registrar or through the registry. Now, one of the principal evidence for say, no, this land are not to you get up. Who say you pull this conveyance? Who that convey this land to you? The answers then they, but we not have for respond. So I think say now indictments for we all now the country, the judiciary, with the justice where they delay, they make people less. Some man go don't die safe. Because if you go to your case go in and you able pan for it, you don't go take 5-10 years. Some man at that case they then a court stay and die.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alito. I mean, I've had an example, like I always say, some people like, don't die safe, the case is not caught today. And it's really, really disheartening and sad for people in the country. And I believe, say, many people don't benefit today. You don't come up with some key information them about the land issue, the laws the way govern them, and the UK around them, and so on and so forth. I believe, say, their advice there. So most of the viewers them go take them to account and whether they get land or salon, in terms of how waiting for do, how they for deal with them, is very, very important. And again, the key thing here, as the time they go around now, don't a bit with time small, as we round up, what do you feel say, we as a nation, we as a society, for tackle this issue, because like what you said, this land issue and human rights issue, these are all the things that some of the tax reports be highlights them, when we could be going to conflict in our country, all enter and contributing factors. What do we for do as a society? Because we don't see now say the key stakeholders them where they're ahead of we, they're not doing anything about this thing, and this thing just the fester. What me and you for do, and the general population for do, for make sure say this issue so we'll deal with it once and for all, and make sure say we bring down the key stakeholders them and the powers to be many understand say people that don't suffer too much for this, and enough is enough. People are not ready for take them again. We want a fairer process, we want a proper process where before say people that will acquire and discharge land equally, in a more clearer and more efficient and more just way?
Well, we all get role for play as a country and as a nation. Specifically, we call upon the civil society organizations that we suppose for the voice of the voiceless. Who side and they waiting to happen with them? When they talk about the fourth estate, the media, then self gets role for play. The media want for encourage them, they beg them, let them embark more on investigative journalism. Let them they go and make sure say then get all the fact out. When you expose the truth, possibly they pan yuki, you're not able for ID, but we'll not get way some money even for that we expose the truth, they're not for that we expose the truth. We very good Sierra Leoneans them for come up with reforms and laws them. So in most cases, and 70% the laws are not there. Now for implement them and we'll not get people them way they monitor self or people the way they help self or say, yes, let me do. For example, we are now talking about a national land policy. The national land policy, now an attempt made by not to this government, we will get for talk about that in a nice program. But when you look at the national land policy, Now, an attempt where the government don't realize, say, the only way we will be able for do this, now for let we come up with a new policy, we will reform the whole land system for create sanity into that. But let's just give a quick history about this land policy, and let me ask yourself a question. Can we take 15 years the wait for let a policy come into action? And they say 15 years, even more than 15 years, because credit to the Chijam Kaba administration, just after the war in 2002, then set the motion for let we talk about a national land policy. The first draft we then get, I mean 2005. So people in the talk about national land policy, not a new things for saying that this government can start them. The first draft we come out, I mean 2005 way of the national land policy. Are they suspect say I know one for make a statement quickly? But the question is, would they use them document and they no more just for organizations and for coming, Simon and can give we money? Then we will not do nothing where we're supposed to do. The reason we can ask this question, but if we don't get a first draft of a policy in 2005, they say, oh well, this draft not being not being good enough because people were not being involved in some wide consultation. So when the previous government come, they say, okay, let we start on somewhere else. So in 2008, or sorry, 2000 and what, we get the APC government. They say bring the same donor organized agencies and come back again. Then review the policy and say this and that. Then we get a final draft now in 2015. As we talk, we'll get a final draft from 2015. So here is the process. We don't start from first draft from 2000 because that need help for create serious solution. Because within the land policy, when we get time for reader, it don't take away the powers them from the land ministry. It don't get what we call them land commission. It sets up commissions and we start from the national level, say the village level, and everybody gets role for play. So the minister self will be accountable. So sometimes the question we want to ask, will they try for sets reforms and laws, but we feel to say the reform and laws too good enough for help for create sanity, that will begin slow for push the reforms them. So now the question come back to the parliament. What the parliament they say, the civil society them. What make we will get a very good document because equity with the social again, one of the good things about that policy day, when next we will talk about, they don't try for go away from this old system of way we do with registration. When are the deeds and call them the deeds registration, when are just the agreements somewhere between you and they say, okay, let we get title registration. So the question we want to ask, if we get such good policies then we for help for reform, what to make it take so long for law we implement them? The Ministry of Lands realize say, I know, but they know say the moment we reform that policy, one man know they get power again. We get serious accountability. Now the system. Minister know they get a power for go begin go around again, say they go seize land from people. So this is what we for begin do now. The civil societies are now for get up in arms. Arms in the sense that we know it's about God, but then for get up now and begin talk, begin advocate, begin shout, begin ask, say, let me not can say with this land policy should be instituted now. We're not for begin wait for. Who say we go on for wait? We don't even get the final draft. Then they go tell who say they not bring consultant back again. Consultant for what? So that's no more they keep on the review. So is there a game play? Because the longer this thing they take, the question you want to ask is it deliberate? You see, so come back to what you say, what we will do. We all get role for play with the civil societies and for come up again, for begin play with rightful role, the role of the media, organizations then like the parliament, always make sure say then things they are winning for reform. We for make sure say they're in place. We don't first allow people and kill the system because it benefits them.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alito. And again, this platform, they tell you thank you plenty. And this program, for John, I say, it will be subsequently be broadcast now Start TV Live. And plenty people in a salon, they say go watch them live. I mean, watch them later on and then go able learn plenty team because like what I said about this land issue now, it don't turn big waller. Now we can't see Sierra Leone. Plenty people in the salon and the diaspora don't suffer a lot. You know, so believe say Dr. Alito will get for come back now this platform some other time, go for expand past some of them other topic church past small because this topic not until we will talk for one game program because it's so plenty. It gets so many angles. So the time thank you plenty. And we tell ourselves where they now the chat room thank you plenty. I don't patience we don't contribute to our own comments them, welcome them, and thank you plenty. And again, Mr. Dr. Alito, in fact, for wrap up, what's that you final message to all the people in the salon in relation to land business, people away before say right side, they get conveyance them, or they particular for the conveyance them, so they surveil them, so they're ready for bill. What's that your advice to people them where they venture on that particular side, where it will help them and benefit them tomorrow in terms of the land and then building no longer for erectly?
Well, I think say I will move away from the land for close, but generally, even when people and they take the right step for genuinely getting the land, then they end up with a problem again. So that it clearly shows we say we get a fundamental problem here, because people and they go through genuine process, but they end up back forget problem. So we got to look at the institutions there, between the ministry and the registry. We for look at what thing they go on when all right, and we for organizations and for begin ask questions and for example for help for let we empower the registry. What make today the registry not all go digital, not all go not become computerized. For me, get things in that kind of way, they so for easy. So for begin to talk about how we help, because if we able to empower the organizations and they will get an interface system where they exist between the registry, and that will help for minimize the problem. We got to make sure say we put all of the systems there in place so that it will difficult for the rogues for able to operate. We'll get for come for talk about the cartel them later on. But over and above, I think say the final message for we and for Sierra Leoneans them. Now remember say we don't go through lots of things as a country. And we not for allow them mistakes there. I don't think they are will lead to the couscous or the kitikata of the country for letting kind thing they have back affect we. We not for compromise them. We not hesitate. When we see them thing that happen, we not for hesitate for come back and make sure say we shout. We for shout. Because we not go consider them again, we can take country back again. In terms of look the grievances that we people in the get. Boku people and they complain. Look the video them and the way they call. Then I want also make an appeal to we security institutions. Then they do good work for the country. But let we heads of institutions and make sure say let them not politicize the institutions. You see government not begin putting aid, and waiting they become now waiting not happen na McKinney. At the end of the day, now you not forget responsibility. We forget a better way for let we deal with things. A wrong, we'll get for talk about that again. We see now say that they use especially with the SSD them, then they use them as almost private security. Then a team back we'll get for talk about the next program. Wait to make I get a case now how they deal with where the very people that will get a land, although the program they cancel. Their rights to the same Inspector General say, can you let yourself get SSD for let them protect the land? The Inspector General say we are stretched, we will not get resource. They will beg you go hire private security. Now for the private man, we feel to say they want to take land. But now that same land there now, that same land there, and the minister in go deploy SSD.
Wow.
The team Boku for talk bottle.
Okay. Thank you very much. On that note today, I think say we will end the program. The request no more. Dr. Alito will come some other time for expand on them topic. This topic is big and it don't affect so many people up and down na Salone and the diaspora. So once again, this platform then and now, they tell Dr. Alito, thank you plenty for you don't take time off in busy schedule for can talk about this land war in our country. And I want to remind all viewers and say every Saturday this time would they get the program Inside Salone at this platform here, so and where they come and talk about plenty different topics them where they affect we in our Salone and at the diaspora where concern all we Sierra Leoneans. So again, I tell you thank you, and let God continue for protect and guide. And please, we will not forget to go on our YouTube page for us to subscribe as well, because we try for develop this particular platform and make sure say we bring come issues in. The next kind of topic they are so all about to all Sierra Leoneans. So this platform belongs to now, it belongs to all Sierra Leoneans. Now we continue for promote them and develop them, because now that will stand up for we will get people them when are prominent people like Dr. Alito and type. So we're going to talk about certain and pertinent issues them where they affect we all. So on that note today, I want to all thank you. May God bless you all. Unatata. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Alito. God bless you, sir.
Thanks so much, and thanks also for the very good presentation. We continue for pray that we the title so captivating then and now. And it's so piercing then and now. Do let we pray, let Salone be the same. Let we not say yesterday better pass today or today better pass yesterday. We pray, let we country, let we all CCS, we country, we sweet Salone. You're able for let everybody, whether you know what tribe you belong to or not to, whether you know party picking, not to party picking, let the country be no more the way you get for before we all. I tell you, thank you, and I'm ready for come back because I say we see how congested this 1 hour safely. It all one part, we say we don't go beyond 1 hour. We're ready for come back, we'll begin take tea, and I will come back with other people at back. We're in champions with we then at the background. With this now thorough thing we do, and we're ready for take till the end. But you know, thank you for providing the platform for we. And let God bless you now.
Okay, thank you, sir. God bless you.